with training camp for the Colts being almost finished and week one of the preseason being done, I think it's a good time to start talking about whose stock is rising, whose stock is falling, what are we looking at with each guy. We're going to start with our first riser being Anthony Richardson. Everything we've seen throughout training camp has been a steady increase. He's had a couple of bad days, but generally, even when he has a bad day and he's making mistakes, he usually makes some sort of wow play at some point in that practice to finish things off. And what we saw in preseason week one, he started the first drive, panicking a little bit when there was a free rusher coming at him, two free rushers coming at him, and he threw the interception. He admitted that was a bad decision. Him, Isaiah McKenzie, and Coach Steichen all talked about how the communication's got to be better, and that's going to come with reps. As they get reps together and everybody's working in this offense together, the communication will come. They'll figure that out, but it's also got to be a better throw. And there were a couple of those in the preseason game, a couple that were like, okay, you need to make a better throw right there. But then there were a couple throws that he was making that were right on the money. Okay. And the one to note was a 35-yard bomb to Alec Pierce that was dropped in an absolute bucket, but Alec Pierce dropped it. Okay. That should have been a touchdown for Anthony Richardson, a beautiful ball. And that's the good thing is that his deep ball accuracy is good. Like he could throw the deep ball with the best of them. He definitely has the arm strength to do it. But it's the short to intermediate stuff that he needs to work on and figure out his touch so that he's not, just gassing the ball in at guys that are only 7 yards away from the line of scrimmage. So there's things to work on, but the stock is definitely going up for Anthony Richardson, seeing what he was able to do in real time and see how he got better just in one quarter of action against one of the best defenses in the NFL, I think was a really promising sign. And I think as Colts fans, we should be very excited about the future with Anthony Richardson. Maybe not the immediate future, but the long-term future, I think very, very good with Anthony Richardson at quarterback. Okay. Now, one guy whose stock went down is Alec Pierce for the aforementioned drop. Okay, he had a couple of those last year where it was right in his hands and he's just not bringing it in through the contact. Okay, he can go up and catch the ball through contact, but if it drops in his hands and then somebody comes to knock it out, like he doesn't hold on to those, and he's got to figure that out. Like we've talked so much about Alec Pierce being a breakout candidate and being a camp standout and everything, and like he needs to figure it out, man. You can't drop those. Anthony Richardson, again, threw a beautiful ball and he dropped that one. But the good news with Alec Pierce is that he's kind of elite at being able to get off the line of scrimmage now, and he's kind of nice at being able to get separation. So having release and separation is nice. You got to figure out the hands, man. Balls like that have got to be caught. You got to make your quarterback look good. You know what I mean? So on the stock up list, we go another wide receiver. That's going to be Josh Downs, who looked really good. Every time he got the ball in his hands, he looked good, whether it was on offense or whether it was returning the ball. Isaiah McKenzie had the first return of the game, and then Josh Downs handled all the rest of the returns the rest of the game. It's not like there was a huge return, but the fact that they want Josh Downs to have the ball in his hands is a really good sign. I think he deserves that. He's an excellent playmaker, and I think he can be an excellent playmaker. So his stock has continued to go up, and after preseason week one, he is definitely on the stock up list and could see himself getting some first team reps in the offense pretty soon. Okay, and then his counterpart, Isaiah McKenzie, is a little bit of a stock down, and he's really only stock down because Josh Downs is a stock up. And they're like the kind of the same player, kind of the same role coming into this offense. So if Josh Downs is going up, Isaiah McKenzie's coming down. That's just kind of the way that's going to work for me. Okay, and then a couple of stock up guys from the linebacker position, Grant Steward and Shaq Leonard. Now, Shaq Leonard's here because a lot of people didn't expect him to be ready for the season. The fact that he was able to play in week one of the preseason and he felt good about it, like that's amazing. Like we've talked about Shaq being back, but this is like confirmation, him playing against another team finally and being able to do full contact and the whole thing. Like Shaq is back. So that's great news. Stock up. He's back to being himself. Grant Stewart is the other linebacker that makes this list because not only is he getting it done on special teams, but he played a lot in that game. Like I thought he was going to come out, with that after the second unit went out, but he just kind of stayed in the game. And he was making plays. He was around the ball a lot. He was getting a lot of tackles, not missing tackles. That's the main thing you look at with backups. Is are they missing tackles? Trevor Denbo got the start, was missing tackles with the first team defense. Grant Steward was not missing tackles. So I think if there's any point this season that, EJ Speed or Shaq Leonard or Zaire Franklin can't be in the lineup, Grant Steward, if he keeps performing like that here in the preseason, there's a good chance you see him take some reps at linebacker here and there throughout the season. Okay, now some stock down here. This is a group of guys. It's a second team offensive lineman. It was so bad. We're going to need our starters to stay healthy all season long. Because when you look at the protection that Gardner Minshew was getting, like, he got sacked on the first two plays, like quickly got sacked on the first two plays that the second team was in there. And that second team line just ain't it, man. And obviously anything behind that's not going to be it either. So we got to figure something out. Chris Ballard and his guys got to figure something out before the regular season. And like at this point, I thought maybe going into week 2, you end up putting Richardson behind second team, since that's kind of what they've been doing in training camp, is switching Minshew and Richardson. But I don't think I want Richardson behind that offensive line. So go ahead and keep Richardson with the starters every single week in the preseason until we can get some backups that can protect the second string quarterback, right? So the last person that I have here on the list of stock up guys is Dio Odangbo, which is so great that I'm able to say that. Like in training camp, we've heard that he's been looking really good in training camp, but when you're going against your own team, and you're rushing the quarterback that you can't actually hit, like how hard are you really going? So seeing Dio Odangbo come into this game and to be able to have an impact and to be able to show flashes of almost getting to the quarterback, like as long as you can put pressure on the quarterback and make the quarterback have to make quicker decisions, you might make him make a bad decision. So Dio Odangbo looked good in this game, and I think as the season goes and as the season progresses, he'll come into form, right? That's what a lot of these guys, you got to knock the rust off. That's what a lot of these guys are even playing in the preseason for, is to start knocking the rust off and get back into their game day routines and start figuring everything out on game day again and putting it together. I think this will be the year that he puts it together. At least I really, really hope so. But at the moment, his stock is going up. Okay, and the last person on the list for stock down guys is going to be Evan Hull. And he's really on this list because we've hyped him up so much. He's been impressing people at camp, and they gave him the opportunity to start this game. He was a starter in on offense. Now, the best running back in the Bills game ended up being Deion Jackson, but Evan Hull, like, I want to give him leeway because even Jonathan Taylor's rookie year was missing wide open holes for the first 10, 11 games of the season before he kind of just exploded on the scene there at the very end of that season. So Evan Hull, I think he'll get better with time. If he's been impressing people in camp, there's something that people are seeing that he's been doing well. And I think at some point that'll translate, but he's got to continue to get reps. And this was also, he was a rookie, 5th round running back that is playing against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Okay. They were playing a lot of their starters. So difficult day for the young guy. And again, as he gets reps, it'll get better. It might take a little while for a rookie running back, but I think he'll come around and I think he'll be fine. But again, Deion Jackson looked pretty good in the limited amount of action that he was in there, so I feel good about him too. So if you want to, you can add Deion Jackson to stock up, to be completely honest. But that there is going to do it for my list of stock up and stock down for right now. We'll continue to update this as the preseason games come along and as the regular season's coming, and we'll look at where the roster is and how everybody's doing. So if there's any other videos like this, any kind of ideas like this that you guys have, go ahead, drop them down in the comments, and I'll see when I can get that kind of video put out. But in the meantime, make sure you subscribe with notifications on to keep getting videos for all the Colts news you could ever want. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.